Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. I'm really glad that you're with us here today. A lot of people doing a lot of stuff today, but here it is, Friday, December the 24th, and it is the birthday of one of the most special people that has ever been brought into this universe, my daughter, Madeline. And happy birthday to you, Madeline. Oh, my goodness, Christmas Eve. That laughter came from Becky Brown, and Mylon Yurkovich is here. We're all here with you here on Christmas Eve.
Becky almost laughed at that, too. I really thought he was setting up Christmas, and it turned out it was Madeline, huh?
We love Madeline.
Oh,
and
she's
are
amazing.
Celebrating her as well. And we also are celebrating the birth of the King, right?
That's right.
Tomorrow.
You know
but this is her. Jesus isn't born on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
Yeah, this is hers, and then Jesus comes.
Yeah.
Let's keep it straight.
Yeah, don't get confused about that.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
We won't. But you know, one of the things right now at this time of the year, you know, we hear all the Christmas story and the Bible readings, and Isaiah 9, we take for granted. You know, that's a child will be born and his name will be Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Prince of Peace. We read that because we know that it happened. But at the time that he was delivering that prophecy, you got to be thinking, people were like, what are you talking about? Like, how is that going to be of any help? And I just think that this time of year, it's such a great time to refresh the truth and just God's grace of sending his son Jesus for all of us to experience new life.
Mm-hmm. And that verse describes not only what he would do in the past, but also what he would do in the present. In the future. That his future role as King of Kings, Lord of Lords. He is now in our hearts, but he will be over this earth one day as well.
He sure
Amen.
will. And I always get excited when I think about the folks that are together on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day that wouldn't be if they hadn't gotten help. Mm-hmm. And, our favorite things around here are these family Christmas cards, oftentimes sent to us by a man who went through every man's battle and says, hey, this is our family, and we're still together because of you. And everybody that supports us, you're so much a part of God using New Life to redeem the pain, the suffering, the struggle in this horrible, horrible fallen world. And we're so glad that you do that. Thank you so much. By the way, anybody supporting us, we send you a wonderful book, 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. It's a devotional book with great quotes in it. Great scripture, great Bible study, commentary. You can just use it to enrich your life. Becky, is this the one that you wrote?
No, actually, this is one Anna wrote, but I tell you, the book itself is not just on depression. It's really understanding how God meets us at our very need. And she does a great job of incorporating strong scriptures as well as understanding how our brains work when depression does set in and how to seek help. And I think it's a great gift for anybody, but it's our way of saying thank you for your gift to New Life.
It is. All right, we're going to go to a break. We'll come back. We'll go to our calls. We have some great calls lined up all over the country here. And
are we going to sing at the end of the show? I mean, with Becky and you and me, are we going to sing anything?
I think so. I think...
Happy birthday
to
Madeline.
Could we? Well, this is also our Christmas Eve show. I mean, and Christmas is on Saturday, you see, so we don't have a show on Saturday.
Let's do it. We'll take care of all of that. Let's
figure something out of the commercial break, okay?
I just hope and pray no one leaves until this fabulous.
Well, maybe we'll make them stay.
Yeah, I hope so.
Stay tuned.
1-800-229-3000.
We have been estranged off and on for 10 years or more, and he has a lot of grievances and anger and bitterness and hatred toward me.
We've been having little disagreements here and there about grandmom's input.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Fearless Parenting, Doing Life with Your Adult Children. It's an online workshop we're holding on Saturday, January 29th. Jim Burns, longtime friend and colleague, he's president of Homework, and he's going to join me.
You invested 2 decades of your life with your children, and you've got to figure out, how do you reparent and reinvent the relationship? It's not easy, but it's possible, and it can be better than ever.
With insightful teaching and the guidance of a credentialed New Life counselor, this one-day online workshop will provide practical advice and hopeful encouragement for navigating the parent-adult-child relationship. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are so back. We're trying to figure out what song we can do. We've been asked to do something that is not with copyright, so it's going to be a brand new tune, of course. May have to make one up just to avoid that.
I think you can do that,
problem.
Steve. I think I've heard you do that before.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's. How about this? How about we go to Dan, Denver, Colorado, Sirius XM, satellite radio. Dan, you are on New Life Live with Milan Yurkovich and Becky Brown. How you doing today?
Guys.
What's going on? Hi.
I'm doing okay. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I guess I'm just calling for some input, some direction, something I can use to help my wife. She had a rough go from the start. Her parents were divorced before she was even born, after her dad tried to kill her mom. When she was 18, she was sexually assaulted by her best friend's husband. And we've been married 22 years. We have 3 kids. She's always struggled with self-image and self-worth, always struggled with her weight. It's really hitting her hard right now. A year ago, she was able to, I guess, for lack of a better term, she buckled down. She did the hard work, and she lost a lot of her weight, and she was really feeling good about herself. Some of it's come back on, but she's just, that past trauma, that past assault, all of that is becoming a kind of an emotional burden, and she's trying to find help for a food addiction, but I'm afraid she needs to, I think she has other issues she needs to tend to, maybe more importantly than that food addiction. She got kind of wrapped up with, as I see it, like, I say a charlatan, but somebody who took us for a bunch of money because was doing like trying to get her into like hypnotherapy and stuff like that. And there was just many red flags, and I guess.
Well, hold on a second. Let me ask you this: what was her maximum weight? This is the symptom, and then how far down did she go, and what's she at now? But how much did she weigh at the peak?
Her maximum weight was probably about 265.
Okay, and then she dropped down.
Christmas of last year, she was 205.
And how did she do that other than hypnotherapy? What else did she do to lose that weight?
Well, that had nothing to do with it. She did all this on her own with just watching her diet, basically doing a keto, working on her sugars and carbs and proteins. And I mean, she did it very well. That part she did all on her own just by hard work.
Well, what happened with this charlatan person?
Well, she's trying to, I think, address all of her issues all at once. And this fellow, it's one of those Facebook things. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be slim? Do you want the secret? Messaged me, and she got in, did a few odd little, I guess, interviews, and then signed a contract, and then it started getting weird, and she backed out and said, "No, this isn't what I need."
Okay.
And regardless, we lost the money on that, but that's beside the point.
Be sure you don't ever bring that money up. Be sure you don't bring up that money again.
No,
that's not going to help anybody.
She feels terrible about it, and I'm like, it is.
Okay,
what it is.
So let us give you some help, and I'm going to start with Becky.
Well, I just want to ask Dan, why are you calling and she's not calling?
She doesn't know what to do. I listen to your program every day. I'm a truck driver, so I listen to the program, and I actually shared the New Life website with her, saying maybe this is an option. We'd like something biblically based, not mysticism, And
wonderful. And we can help her with that.
I listened to Becky. I listened to you guys, and like I said, I know. I don't know the whole story. She's never told me how in depth, but she's let more and more out recently, and that's why I'm thinking there's deeper trauma that she needs to work through to help her with her self-worth before she can even begin to adjust the physical, I guess.
Right.
The superficial. I hate to say it that way, but
It's okay. We understand that, and we can absolutely connect her with one of our therapists. And Steve, in Lose It for Life, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
The weight is a symptom, and when that weight goes away, you're left with what you were feeding. Like you don't have the coping skills to deal with that unresolved trauma, and that's where that food kind of thing comes into play. And so I love your heart for her. That's the reason why I asked. Why you were asking for her help, but we absolutely can connect her with somebody. And for you, Dan, I think one of the most important things is for you guys to be able to connect. And of course, Mylon, you can talk more about that, but I think that could be a very big part of her healing journey as well.
Well, before I turn over to you, Mylon, I just want to say this: when you said you don't fully know everything, and she's revealed more and more, it just seems like to me, the more you genuinely want to know about those things, that you just slow way down and take your time when you're there after getting out of that truck and just asking her to tell you and to tell you more and stuff, that could be one of the most, whatever happens with the weight, that could be one of the most connecting and healing things that you could do.
Well,
but let's hear from Mylon here and see what he has for you. Yeah. Mylon, your thoughts?
Okay.
Dan, how old is your wife?
She's 42.
Okay, well, one of the things that we find in our offices a lot is that people can only hold the lid down for so many years and so many decades. Right, Becky?
That's a great phrase. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
They can only hold the lid down and hold everything and stuff it inside for so long. Pretty soon it starts to press out and bubble over. And it didn't, I was guessing 40s because that's about when we start running out of gas to hold the pressure of the lid down. So that's good news. I would say that your goal is, as Steve was saying, to have conversations every day about everything, not just focusing on her past or her history, but really to learn to be in touch with her emotionally, and for her to be in touch with you emotionally, what your emotions are, and that the focus isn't, you're not just rotating and revolving around the axis of obesity or food addiction, but you're really rotating around, we want to build an emotionally healthy relationship. That is not, some mystical psychobabble. That's very biblical, that God tells us to be emotional with one another as he is. God's a very emotional God and is highly emotionally intelligent. Okay, having said that, I would also recommend that the two of you, to enhance that, get to one of our marriage weekends because we create a blend of the emotional and the physical. But Becky is absolutely right. Steve's absolutely right. With this history of pain, abuse, and being hurt and traumatized, she is really trying to hold all that in, and it's a part of her shame. One of the things that women feel massively, and really men do too, if they've been objectified and if they have been used, hurt, traumatized sexually, is they feel a lot of shame and they don't want to tell people. But shame is really one of the things she's going to have to learn to deal with. But openness is one of the antidotes to shame.
Well, I'm going to do something for you here because it's Christmas Eve. I'm going to give you a gift. And if you can get her there, I will scholarship you and her into our Intimacy and Marriage, February 11, 12, and 13. I'm also going to send you the book, Lose It for Life. And right now, we do intensives in 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We are about to announce our extensive for weight loss, which is a Lose It for Life experience that will last 6 weeks and then beyond that even more. And we're very excited about that, but I'm sure everybody on our team is upset that I'm even mentioning it now. But we've got a really, really amazing, Christ-centered, biblically truth-based program that we're going to unfold here that I think is going to be the best thing we've ever done in the area of not just weight loss, but life building and renewing, using that symptom of weight as the excuse for everything to be different. So let's see if we can get you to that. Anybody else, you call us, 1-800-229-3000. You can still get, I think, $200 off if you call today. And what a great present it is to say to wife or husband, here's what I've arranged for us. And I think it's going to change everything. And you will not be disappointed in what can happen.
I love that Dan is advocating for his wife and trying to find ways to get help. And he's going to bat for her, and he loves her, I can tell by his tone. That's great. Way to go, Dan.
Yeah, way to go. Let's go to Joe. Joe is calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and glad that you're listening on Sirius XM. Joe, how are you today? What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing good. I got a question for you guys. Now, I just like he said a minute ago, like you can't contain the lid, and I think my lid just busted. I went ahead and told my wife that I've been unfaithful for even before we got together 16 years ago. We've only been married for 4 years, and it's a problem that I've always dealt with, and I just want to know, am I to move out of the home? Because I'd like to go to every man's battle, because I've been listening to your guys' show for a long time, and am I to move out of the home? Because I got some Christians that are around me that are disagreeing with that, but I don't know what to do.
What does she want?
She didn't want me to leave.
I think, given, the betrayal, if you can find yourself more interested in what she wants and needs than what anybody else says, I think that's where your answer is going to lie. If you're willing to do whatever it takes to win back her heart, you guys might be able to have a marriage that would exceed anything you thought possible. It's not too late for that. What was her reaction when you told her all of this?
Oh, it was devastating. It was really devastating.
Yeah.
It was something I've been avoiding for a while, but I'm free from it as well. And it was like a weight was taken off my shoulders and placed on her. But I understand all about betrayal. I got betrayed by both my parents when I was very young, and they separated, and my mom didn't want nothing to do with me because I looked like my dad, and my dad always had all these women come in, and a couple of them abused me, and I just don't think I have a proper view of women.
No.
Yeah,
and
I would think that's
but
probably
I do know about
true.
Betrayal.
Okay, so why haven't you signed up for Every Man's Battle? Don't you think she'd really feel like you had true remorse if you said, I signed up for it, not just, I want to go?
Well, One, it's always far away, and then I don't know what I've heard. The airlines are all screwed up because of this vaccine thing, and I don't want to get a vaccine, and I just don't know how to get to you.
So Joe, listen, you just said that the lid flew off. You still have a lot of confusion about what your next steps are, and Steve just talked about that willingness to do whatever, and you have to look at these things that you're throwing up as excuses, and you can make them valid, or you can make a big change for everybody in your life, for yourself. I think
I want to.
You've been listening long enough that every man's battle is the next step for you. We'll be back, and we'll talk more about this.
Yeah.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Mylon, you have some encouragement here to Joe from Philadelphia, and you were saying how you felt or where he is in all this.
Well, Joe, I really appreciate your call, and I really appreciate that you listen to the show, and it's significant to me that you would call us and share with us your journey, having just shared with your wife this challenging news. It is so I see you less defensive about strategies and steps forward, and I see you more confused as to I don't know what to do, and I see you a little bit more disoriented. I love your heart, but Becky's right. You're going to have to be very focused as to what your next steps are, and I'm glad you called. We have them all around the United States, you're right, but you can drive. You don't have to get on a plane. You can drive. You can take a train. There's lots of ways to make it happen. So,
the next one's in D.C., Mylon.
Becky, I love that you are on top of these things. So that's why you are just amazing. So tell us more about
January 7 through 9 in Washington, D.C., and there's still some time. And Joe, if you need a scholarship, we can help you with that. But you can get there without getting on a plane, and it could be the best Christmas gift that you ever give your wife.
That's right. And Joe, I want to share one more thing, and then I'd like to hear Becky's other opinions on this, and Steve's. But listen, I appreciate your insight as to why you've started off and you're not balanced, that you've been hurt, you've been abandoned, you've been rejected, and that your view of women is not accurate. One of the things you'll learn in Every Man's Battle is the view of women, of God's view, and to honor them and to not see them as objects. But I love your insight, and you're on a good path. You're confessing, you're sharing, you're confessing with your wife and us. You're going public with this thing. And then I'm very impressed that you would have insight as to why you feel you're struggling. And Becky will share some more things, but one of the things I know Becky and Steve agree on, it's going to take time for you to reorient your thinking, and you'll have to be with some really good people to help you do that.
Yeah. I'm glad
I have a lot of default modes.
Of course you do. Becky, what are your thoughts about what next steps he would need to take after EMB?
Well, Joe, you might have default modes, but you also have some insight. You're connecting dots that is exactly why you are to this place in your relationship with your wife. You guys are just starting off in your marriage. And even though this preceded the marriage, everything in her life has been turned upside down. That's what happens when betrayal trauma occurs. And she's going to be... she has to get into her own healing journey as well. And that can begin right away. We have people in your area that we can connect you with, but I just think this is the beginning of potentially a great healing for you, for your family, and for your future.
I do too, and I'm really glad you called. I'm going to send you Every Man's Bible. I hope a lot of guys got this for Christmas. It's the #1 best-selling study Bible of all Bibles right now in the month of December. And I hope that that's going to be a blessing to you, get you in the Word. I hope that you will go to Every Man's Battle and then follow up in Sustained Victory. Those guys that stay in Sustained Victory, they are just great testaments to the power of God's healing. And so I'm so glad you called. And if your wife can get to restore, that would be such a blessing right there, if she could go, because it'll help her deal with this betrayal that's been there.
The really power of community, right, Steve?
Absolutely. Let's go to Christine, Trenton, New Jersey, and she is watching us on the YouTube channel of New Life Live. Christine, how are you today? What's going on in your life?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I just want to say this program really hits home for me today. My question is, how do I trust God and heal from pain, abuse, and hurt and shame, emotional pain? I'm grieving a betrayal trauma from my adult son and friends from the church, and I've been in recovery for about 20 years. And
what did they do? How did they betray you? What happened?
Well, I had a friend in the church for about 20 years, and our son just turned 18, and he was looking to leave the home and just kind of like leave everything that, he had planned behind, and we had asked our friends to not let him stay there. And the pastor got involved the 1 year and said that he was against it, and he didn't agree that he should stay there. And then a year later to the date, we found out that our son was staying there, and my friend never called me to let me know that our son was there at her house.
So the question for us is going to be what? Because we're going to go to a break, and we'd like to hear what you need help with.
I've reverted back to some lustful thoughts to cope from the trauma of what happened, and it also triggered like my past abuse and of anxiety and depression. And I have overcome a lot and worked hard on myself and did a lot of self-work, and now I feel like this just took me backwards.
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you, unexpected loss, so hard. And you combine that with being betrayed and then the trigger of past betrayal. We'll give you some help right after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, I completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., January 7th through the 9th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Of course, we don't know the details of why the pastor changed his mind, didn't support you there. What was your objection to your son doing whatever it was that he did that you didn't think was good for him?
Well, we just thought that, we had all had a plan for him to go to college and to go into the military, and he had that hope kind of just, disappear after there was something that he wasn't able to go, and we just thought he was just making the wrong decisions and just, abruptly leaving the home like that, and didn't even, just didn't even say anything to us about it. Just was up and left one day. And
why do you think he might have done that? Why do you think he just kind of went the other way from you and your husband? Any thoughts? What might have been at that?
I think he just didn't. Well, my husband is his stepfather, so we think, that he's had some emotional wounds from his original, his biological dad. Mm-hmm. And I think he didn't like that, he didn't like to follow our rules, and he didn't like to, I guess I don't think they were unreasonable. I mean, we talked about it, and we had certain rules in the house, just chores and stuff, and he was just very combative and very rebellious in the home, and didn't really want to follow everything was was a battle. Okay.
I'm gonna give you a strategy that you may not want to take, but I think it might change some things. It would be you and your husband, his stepfather, communicating this to him. We've thought about this, and we've prayed about this. And we really reacted to you not wanting to choose the path that we thought was best. And, not telling us. And we reacted to that. But having really thought this through and prayed about it, fact, we actually heard some people's opinions on this. Whatever you decide, wherever you go, and whatever you do, we're going to do it with you. We're not going to turn our back on you because you went a different direction from us. If that's what you're going to choose at age 18, we don't want to be distant. We want to be with you and for you. When you contact us, we're not going to be telling you made the wrong decision anymore. We're going to support you, and we're going to try to stay in your life, whatever decision that you make. And I hope that you could trust us enough to let us back in and know we're for you, whatever the path. We want to be with you.
Well, we've done that, and he's on his own now. I mean, it's over. The situation is over, and we've talked about it, and we're in relationship with each other. I'm just saying, like, how it's affected me, and it's triggered, like, my past trauma and abuse. And it was like the pressure cooker that we talked about before. I felt I was just dealing with so many things in the past 2 years, and it just came to a boiling point where I just couldn't take. I felt I couldn't take it anymore, and it just like the dam of emotion just started flooding forth, and it triggered a lot of past trauma and abuse, and just you know. And I went into like these thoughts that I go to cope, because that's just what I've learned my learning. I guess learned behaviors.
Okay, well, let's see what Mylon has to say about that, going back into the crummy stuff just to survive.
Well, by the word lusting, I think you used that word earlier. Did I hear that accurately?
They're like lustful, blasphemous thoughts. It's like I go inside of myself, and it's like kind of check out into a whole another world, I guess.
Do you dissociate?
No, I'm aware of. I'm in the present.
Okay, so it's a fantasy world that you go to.
Like angry thoughts toward God, or lustful thoughts, or curse words. They're more like curse words than even lustful thoughts. They're not images or visions. They're curse words.
Okay, well, you know what feels to me to be obvious is that 3 people lied to you for a reason. And you mentioned your history of anxiety and depression. And often people who struggle with anxiety, and I know of this personally, a firsthand experience, once upon a time, I was a lot more anxious, and then I was more highly controlling when I was anxious because of fear. And have you ever explored the nature of your rules and your controlling nature? Because what's happened is that 3 people have said no to your control. And so you think you can be good, you think you can be walking a good line, but then all of a sudden 3 people pour rain on that parade, and it's not working anymore. And I think you're also having the realization that whatever I was doing isn't working or didn't work. And so I'm wondering if you've explored, as a part of that history, the need for control of perhaps your son, because I noticed you said, well, you think it's from his biological father. He's having a reaction to him. And he might be. He might be having a reaction to his stepfather. He might be. But you didn't mention you. And I think is important.
That's very true. I mean, I do agree that, I have been very rigid and controlling, and I've been very angry.
Okay.
And I have,
Christine, that's all I need right there. Rigid, controlling, and people in our book, How We Love, the chaotic, disorganized chapter on what happens to a person who's raised in a chaotic, disorganized home where there is hurt, abuse, and so on and so forth. These people can oftentimes be highly controlling and very rigid. And then when people recoil from that, we're hurt. And I think I really want you to really understand the cause and effect of this here, that your history caused the rigidity, and then your rigidity caused these whatever atmosphere in your home. It's not just about the rules, it's about an atmosphere. And so somehow your son, and I'm glad you're in relationship now, but that's where I would do my work, Christine. And it has to do with grieving, loss, and the willingness to really address that history, not just in terms of creating rigid rules, but in terms of grieving that history and allowing it to come out another way besides rigidity. Becky?
All right.
What history? Well, what'd you say,
ahead,
Christine?
Becky.
Christine.
I wanted to hear what Christine had to say.
I was just saying, what history, like the history of my past trauma and abuse, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah,
Yes.
Becky, would you carry on?
Yeah, so it's interesting, Christine, because the event of your son leaving home triggered all of this stuff that's been lying dormant.
Right.
Even though you've been doing recovery work, all of this stuff has been undisturbed.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are kind of checking out, you're not dissociating, but you are using your mind in a way that keeps you from really doing the healing work like Mylan's talking about, grieving, exposing these things to the light and in community, which is, those are all recovery principles too. And so I don't know if you're working with a sponsor or if you're still active in your group, but that could be a way for you to manage those thoughts so that they're not managing you. You know, you want to get free of this. I'm glad that you've made repair to this relationship with your son. I do think that there is some deep healing that needs to continue. And from what Mylan's talking about, your history, if you have this awareness that you have been controlled by your past, that's why you have to go and unearth it and get some really good healing in place so that it doesn't control your present and your future.
All right. I'm so glad you called. I want to send you Sherry's book, Intimate Deception, because it's written by a person that really understands trauma. I want to send you How We Love. I think that can really help you understand, take another look at. I'll send the workbook with that. I want you to get additional help. That's really what I'm hearing. This is the need, is additional help in whatever way you can get it. And we'll try to help you find that. We'll be back for a final segment here on New Life Live.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Southern California February 11th to the 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and just before we go to our final Christmas greeting and hymn, let's go to Emmanuel from New York. New York, first-time caller, and really glad that he's on the line. Emmanuel, how are you today, and how could we help? Don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to get to your call.
God bless you. I'm doing very well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, good. Doing well, thank you.
So how could we help you?
All right, so I've been struggling with the biggest challenge of my life. It's the big D word, divorce. And, the only one in my family who's come to this point, and it's at the brink of ending and finalizing. And I've been struggling the past 3 years trying to come to terms with the fact that, A, it is happening, B, it's abhorred by the Lord, and C, what's going on with me? Can I just come to a place of peace with it and understanding that, it's possible that I made a decision. No, not possible. I made a decision without seeking God's face to marry this woman, and I married her, and she was going to church with me and then shortly thereafter stopped going to church, and I struggled. I never thought that I'd be a man struggling to bring my wife to church. I grew up in a Spanish church where most of the time it was the women struggling to bring the men to church. And so now, I want to hold on to that for the wrong reasons. I want to know that if I was unequally yoked, that I am okay, that, I don't want to, I want to be able to continue on and grow in ministry and just keep working towards what the Lord wants for me.
So what have you done to just work on yourself and try to understand yourself better, and what your contribution might be to any problems that are there? You got any kind of help?
Yes, I'd say that one of the things that I did was I had to get away from, I actually returned to my father's church, so I felt more at peace and at home. My father's a pastor. And the other next thing that I did was surrounding myself with people of that same mindset, of people who seek the Lord and love the Lord. And because before I wasn't doing that. I was confused and trying to do things on my own, and realized that there's resources right around me that can be of great help to me. And another thing that I tried to do today, of course, I called in is, the reason why I called in is the call center said, hey, you can present your question online. I'm like, oh, well, then I'll present my question online about dealing with this whole big D thing. I've done a lot of research to try to understand that,
okay,
you can tell a Christian by their fruit.
I've just got a couple of minutes with you. I want you to cut to the chase. I'll ask you a really tough question, then I'll turn it over to Mylan and to Becky. But if I was talking to your wife, she would say to me, the worst thing that I experienced in my marriage was what? What would be the big complaint from her?
I'd say the biggest complaint from her would be, I don't know, I would say the two words that came to mind were betrayal and absence.
You betrayed her?
And the betrayal part, in her point of view is anytime that I sought advice and guidance from people outside of our marriage. For example, if I spoke to my sister or spoke to the pastor, she seemed to always get angry with me if I went outside of our marriage for guidance.
Okay.
Another thing that I would say is absence, when she would start coming down on me and talking to me very, very terribly. I would escape by going to the gym and just being away from her because I didn't want to keep getting berated.
Okay. Well, Mylan, what are to start us off here, what are your thoughts here, and then we'll go to Becky.
Well, there is an expression in the business place called "let the buyer beware." we try to be aware of what it is we're purchasing or buying. And it sounds like you may not have known this woman very well, because she's very possessive, jealous. She won't allow you to talk to other people, and then she's angry at you. And so I'm guessing, this is a wild guess, Emmanuel, she may have been very passionate in the beginning. Was she?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good guess, Mylan. Thank you. So what happens is there's this high level of passion, and we just fall for it. But there's an equal and opposite possibility that there's a high passion and a high hatred. And so these go together. It's like two sides of a coin. And so I think the bottom line is it's about your choice and being enamored with the intense connection you had at first, but that intense connection turns to something really not good really quickly. Becky, what do you think?
Yeah, Becky.
I think your question, Emmanuel, is a little displaced. You're worried about what the divorce, you keep using the big D, or, the D, you can't even talk about it. And I think that this is happening. This isn't like something that you're going to prevent, but it's really about, how do I heal and move forward? You're talking about, how this is going to affect my witness and all of those kind of things. God has healing available for you. This isn't the worst thing that he will say, nope, I can't forgive you for this, or you're never going to get over this. But I think that's where my direction would be, is in divorce recovery. And then to work on how to have intimate connection with people, so that if you do get either remarried to her after, you both do a lot of work, or whoever the next person would be, that you would be fully present and really know how to connect in a healthy way.
All right. I am going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back and Healing is a Choice. Healing is a Choice is the book that Misty and I wrote together right after we were married, and it's really a healing book for anybody that has gone through divorce. But I want to say this, until it's over, it's not over, and sometimes when it's over, it's still not over.
Right.
I would try to see if she would go to intimacy and marriage. You guys could really turn this thing around still. We only have a couple of minutes left on our Christmas Eve program, and I do want to say this to my daughter. Happy birthday, Madeline. I love you so much, and I miss you like crazy, especially this time of year. You're just one of the greatest human beings ever, and you were born 1990 on Christmas Eve. What a joy. What a joy you have been. People love you, none quite as much as me, but they absolutely love you. And then as we close out, I just want to, anybody that feels led to give to us on Christmas Eve, what a great blessing that is, because what we are here for is to restore lives and bring them back to a redemptive relationship with others and with Jesus Christ. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us, and we'll send you 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. And as we close out, let's sing a little Silent Night here, guys. You ready? Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round the young virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.